Right.
The only thing that everyone needs to know is when you have to decide which ID that you have to go for. So you have to have a real captain, but then you can have other people who can come in with IDs as well.
Everybody contributes, but it is important to have somebody who pulls the trigger.
Team Secrets. Because if there's no authoritative voice in the team, it's so easy for any sort of panic or different contrasting decision making to kick in.
It sounds tough for Raging Potato. I think he has a really tough job because he plays core, and then he has to manage his other teammates. That guy's crazy. It's like
Execrations turn to
and I mean, one of the things that he's going to be up against is Puppy, who is a pretty legendary name in the Dota community. And I'm very excited to see how the two captains will match up against one another. Let's go straight into game one, the only game between Team Secret and XctN.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Secrets turn
Puppy,
to
of course, legendary drafter. Long before I even knew how to play Dota, the name of Puppy surpassed the game itself, and I constantly heard about how brilliant of a strategist he was in that drafting phase. And I've never really gotten to talk to anyone about what it is that makes him so exceptional.
Sometimes he has his weaknesses, sometimes he's really, really good. He knows exactly what to do at the right time. He'll tell you specifically what item to build, where you need to be if he thinks that you aren't going to do the right thing. So I think that's one thing he does very, very well.
Yeah. Very strong personality. I would say he's a bit arrogant at times. Little like bullheaded, I guess.
A weakness he has is that he's a bit stubborn. So even if he loses with some lineup a couple of times, he still wants to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the exact skill trait that would make you a good captain, which is looking at 4 other unbelievable players and saying, I know exactly what you should do, right? That can possibly get in the way of decision-making at other points. We see the usual bans: Nyx Assassin, Faceless Void, Puck, and Lich, 4 of the most popular picks that we've seen.
But a very unusual first pick, having that Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of first pick Witch Doctors in this tournament. Not the biggest fan of the pick, but it reminds me of like an Ogre as well. We see a little bit from VP. It's a hero they like to first pick a lot. It's very, I don't know, it doesn't show a lot, and now they can use this second pick to really pick something that matters.
And it's going to be a Bat Rider, who's been an extremely popular pick throughout this entire tournament. Essentially a character based much around his ultimate of Lasso, snatching a single character and drawing him out to the rest of your team. Only fighting 5-on-4s.
10 seconds remaining.
He lanes very well versus both Sand King and Lycan, and some BKB lockdown with the Lasso for Lycan when he eventually picks up that item will be very useful.
It seems like Secret really wants to have strong lanes, because Witch Doctor is also one of the strongest lane heroes with his cask, and also the sustain he has with his heal.
Team Secrets turn
We might see some weird heroes in this matchup too. I think Secret, they've been first phase in PL, which only teams have been doing. We could potentially see a Huskar pick coming from either team matchup too.
The best of one.
Yep.
We have seen some Huskar cheese in the past.
We have.
So I don't know if this is a incorrect assessment, but as I was slowly learning more and more Dota and just occasionally watching esports matches where Secret was in attendance, it always seemed like they would be one of the teams most comfortable with picking non-meta hero. I mean, is that correct? I mean, I've just seen some drafts that are nuts. I've heard some commentators talk about it in the games.
Goes back to what he said about Puppy being stuck. If he thinks his hero is good, he's going to pick it, whether or not everyone else is not going to pick it or everyone else is terrible.
And that's what Ake was talking about earlier today, is you don't want to chase anybody. You want to
10 seconds
create your own path. You want to win with the heroes that you think are good, and then watch everybody else try and figure you out.
Well, thus far, no team is
Team Secrets turn to ban.
We've had a lot of heroes
out of
picked.
control, yeah.
I mean, what do we have, like 107, 108 total heroes picked?
We're currently at 108 of 112. They don't have Bane, who's my favorite hero. I love Bane.
Bane's actually not bad. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him at some point. He's just, there's other heroes that kind of fill the same roles that he does.
Right.
Better.
10 seconds remaining.
We got some bans, Invoker Sven,
5 seconds remaining.
Wait on this last one here. That's Sven ban against with Lycan. Again, we saw it from EG in the last series. Queen of Pain banned out. Queen of Pain lanes pretty well against Bat, but I doubt Bat would go mid.
Turn to pick.
Usually in the offlane, I guess.
Haven't seen Batman in a long time.
Omni ban.
Are they afraid of Husker that they will pick it since the ban on the night? Omni Husker?
Omni Huskar, is that a thing?
Not with Lycan, I think.
Yeah, I think Huskar Lycan would be a little bit too much
10
raw damage and
seconds
not enough
remaining.
control. Lycan really loves heroes that can set up kills for him.
5
Secret's been picking
seconds
some
remaining.
Necrophos as well, right? They really like to have these active carry heroes.
Necrophos is great versus Lycan.
Yeah.
Big fan. You can make yourself ethereal, be immune to Fizzler, nobody can right-click you.
The get out of jail free card, and of course, in the ethereal form, you get the massive bonus heal.
Yes.
The first time that I saw that happen, I thought someone was legitimately cheating.
Well, we haven't
He just
seen-
like went into ethereal form and popped a wand. Was at full health. It was oh!
It's a little bit out of control, I think, but that's why he's getting picked. He's good right now.
Any potential to see Brood in this best of one?
Up against Bat Rider and Witch Doctor, potentially. We've seen Liquid run it up against Bat Rider, not afraid of it at all.
It could work if Secret show their mid hero, so they actually force them to put Bat mid and being in a bad position in that way.
XctN has the last pick in this best of one, which I think is pretty nice to have.
In terms of the advantages, what are the big advantages you get of not being the last picking team? Because obviously, if you last pick, the entire lineup of the enemy you get to work within that.
You get first pick.
You get first, yeah, exactly. You get first pick, but if you're going to use it on a Witch Doctor, I don't really know how much value that is. You know, we see Shaker still ignored, Wisp ignored, Pucklich, Void, Nyx all banned. Those are pretty common. Void being the exception.
10
Clockwork's
seconds
been an
remaining.
interesting hero. It's been picked a pretty reasonable amount of the
5
time,
seconds
but
remaining.
really hasn't had the best win rate. 20% Clockwork in the
find that
Execration's turn to pick.
should I?
I don't know.
Team
Why is it
Secret's
interesting? He's just a
turn to
loser.
pick.
Losers fascinate me, Peter.
XctN are going for a very safe draft here with Clock and Shadow Fiend to make sure that Shadow Fiend gets his souls early on.
Oh yeah, the Clockwork SF.
Yeah.
That's classic. You can,
That's perfect for a best of one.
set the cogs up in the
10
fountain.
seconds
You right-click
remaining.
once, or you have a teammate right-click once because Clock will one-shot him, and then Shadow Fiend finishes him off.
5
You build up some
seconds
souls to start the
remaining.
game, get that mid lane advantage.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
very
pretty dirty.
That's awesome.
But play to win, especially this best of one for, I don't know, how much money are we dealing with here? A couple $100,000 on the line?
Yeah.
Just a couple hundred G's, no big deal.
I mean, at this point, I'm always interested to see when there's a best of one situation. Almost
Execration's
any
turn
esport,
to ban.
what
Templar
the attitude
Assassin.
is, because I feel like you can distill down a fundamental attitude, whether it's play it safe, we gotta be stable, we gotta be sturdy, or
Team
they won't
Secret's
expect it this
turn to
time. We
ban.
can throw them off. We can do something insane. Templar Assassin making the first appearance of the day.
Saving their final support hero, right? Unless that's a Clockwork support, and then they're...
I think
Maybe.
they really wanted to get the TA against this SF because TA is one of the heroes that can actually deal with the damage that SF has
10
early on.
seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
And they might have been scared that XctN would ban it.
5 seconds
Yeah, I mean,
remaining.
Shadow Fiend deals huge bursts of damage, but Templar Assassin, of course, with her refraction, absorbs all those huge chunks, no problem.
TA infamous for doing single target damage, oftentimes struggle up against summons and illusions.
Secret's
Has a difficult time
turn
dealing
to
AoE
pick.
damage. Could be a potential last pick from XctN. I think that it's very possible that they pick another core here and put Clockwork and Sand King on support to kind of have that surprise, almost best of one cheese element to their draft.
Team Secret really looks like they
10
just need
seconds
someone
remaining.
with great damage. Do you think that it would be possible to choose
5
a
seconds
core that
remaining.
needs a little less babysitting to allow Rubik and Witch Doctor to go about the map, or do you think they really want to leverage how nice Witch Doctor can be in lane?
I think having someone that can do well against Clockwork and Sand King in the lane is fine, but I would really worry that these are not the core heroes that XctN is. That fifth hero is probably going to be a core.
You can always just go something safe like Lifestealer. I think it's pretty safe. You have Bat Rider in your team.
Lifestealer could be good.
Not really bad versus anything.
Pretty good for Shadow Fiend.
What are some other possible options for Team good and bad?
I think the Necrophos is something that they, as I said before, is something that they picked, but I think they lack a bit of damage to be able to burst some. I mean, they could lasso into the Necrophos ultimate, but that means that the TA has to jump in and
How do you guys
hit there as well.
How do you feel about anti-mage?
so-so. I think MP just plays the weird heroes though all the time. It's like
Yeah.
PL, PA, Necrophos, Huskar.
And Mage is quite bad against Lycan, right?
Phantom Lancer one time?
Oh, that's your hero.
Yeah, dude, Phantom Lancer and Bane, I absolutely adore, and Phantom Lancer is really nice for being able to participate
Shadow Fiend
earlier in the
Shadow Fiend's pretty alright against PL.
Yeah, he is. But the thing is, they've been picking it all the time. I'm very unsurprised to see them pick it up because they did pick it up first phase. Sven's already banned out by Execration themselves.
Lycan struggles a lot versus PL.
Yeah, Timber would be decent, I suppose.
Timbersaw could be. I like Timber. Lots of armor.
I think he's one of the best ones versus.
Yeah, and even though PL does get that defusal eventually, which can present problems for Timbersaw, Timbersaw can just kill all those illusions immediately. I do like Timbersaw a lot. See if they go for it, but they could also still just pick like some ranged 5-position port. See, I always like Crystal Maiden, but it's God. Crystal Maiden.
Man, I can't stand Crystal Maiden. Now that the jungle camps don't give you enough experience.
She's so slow. She got nerfed like so many times.
Yeah,
her
she's
movement speed,
pretty
it's
bad.
just insane.
I always like playing Seam against PL though.
Yeah.
You can just ult and PL actually can't do anything to you. It's great.
So what would you describe as the quality of the last pick that Execration?
They need more AoE.
Silencer.
Okay. So that is going to be support silencer, I would imagine.
I think so.
Okay.
Well, at this point in time, the lineups have been locked. And as we've said before, it is an elimination match. Whoever loses is eliminated from TI as the very first team to go. Let's take it away with the casters.
The underdog story is always a beautiful thing. It is even better when it's elimination games at TI. Execration versus Team Secret. Team Secret are actually no strangers recently to that underdog position, but now they're coming in as the favorites. Do you think they have what it takes?
I'm not sure who really is the underdog in this matchup. I think it's very hard to say. Like this group stage has shown already that the scores aren't really necessarily representative of who you should consider the favorites, or maybe every underdog is just winning right now. Yeah. But you know, I think it's fair enough to say on paper Secret should be the favorites. But Execration showed pretty good form in the groups. Sure, they went to the lower bracket, which half the teams will, or actually a little less than half, but a couple got knocked out.
We cut the extra fat off.
But I think Execration have what it takes. I think they have a draft they're very comfortable with. The panel were discussing like what does this last pick need to be. They went for something completely different. So it seems like they're very comfortable with the silencer being played by RR in this game. Secret, on the other hand, have comfort picks. I just feel like their team fight in this lineup looks really lackluster. I'm a bit worried for them going into that.
Well, the panel were kind of touching on it, right? They're looking at individual pickups. Like I was sitting here wondering if we're going to get the Yapsol Rubik. I was then gratified with the Yapsol pickup. But then you got the Templar Assassin in mid, very, very single target focused. And maybe that's the way they're thinking about it. The team fights will just never happen. If they play the fun, fast pace game against Execration, is that the approach that they're looking for in their draft?
It's possible that they try to do that. We're going to have to see. I think Execration's lineup definitely has what it takes to fight back. You look at their lineup, they have many of these pretty fast-paced heroes themselves. A hero like Clockwork, Sam King. Shadow Fiend with Cogs, as mentioned by the panel, also comes online very quickly. And then you have your carry is a hero like Lycan, who is basically not necessarily all about fighting, but he's pretty good at contributing. You have Howl, you have the ultimate to make you really fast and run in and kill the heroes. And something that they also were mentioning, when you're playing against TA, this refraction is something you really need to look out for. Execration had a game in the group stage where they did exactly this. They ran Lycan safe lane with Necrobook, and it destroyed. I think it was the TA of Cloud9 in that game, I believe. Had a really hard time. Vata was constantly just losing his refraction charges to the Necrobook, which in addition also gives True Sight. It's like an amazing hero counter. He has 4 summons and bye-bye refraction, So I personally like Execration's draft here, but I think Team Secret have some players that could step up big time in a game like this.
I agree. There's a lot of talent in the lineup of Team Secret, and maybe that is what they're going to rely on, but it's a good story for everyone who is viewing. If Execration can find themselves a solid draft they feel comfortable with, that isn't just a straight, Bloodseeker, no one can counter him, Broodmother, no one can counter her kind of approach to the draft. It makes things very fun and interesting, and it looks like Team Secret, they may want to try and open up the account. James, he was coming up for the rune, a pickup by Team Secret, and James wants to get back through the trees. Maybe he's got the distance with a Burrow Strike out from Lemek. They're going to get a little bit more space. Body blocking up Yapsor. He doesn't want to give him the vision or the first blood. James still alive. The boots are giving him the speed to escape the Team Secret gank.
Oh, I think Secret actually wanted to give that kill to the PL. I think both of their ranged heroes had the ability to get in an additional hit, but a lot of the times you want to give this carry that head start, and this time it comes back to bite them. I believe that was indeed a kill if they just committed for it. Yep, they dodge a bullet there. That's the kind of thing you have in elimination matches like this. They're the most terrifying and the most exciting games at the same time, and under pressure, mistakes like that can definitely happen.
Yeah, but this is the upside sort of for Team Secret. Okay, middle lane, Burrow strike onto mid one. They know he has no refraction charges, so Yapsor picks him up in range of the tower, and the body block from mid one. Lemon can't get out, he's blocked in by the creep wave. Mid one will spill first blood. And Raging Potato, with even that plus 16 souls, he's still forced away.
It was a great play by Yapsor, identifying that play was possible. He could actually lock him in there. Now that the creep wave in the mid has that extra creep since patch 7.0, I believe, that earlier was 7.04, I think, added that extra creep in mid. It makes plays like those more likely to succeed just because there's more stuff in the way. And yep, they pull that off. So nice first blood for Team Secret, going the way of mid one. I think that's the player they wanted to go to more than anyone in this kind of matchup. Should secure him. Is that his bottle already coming out? It is indeed. Yeah, very, very necessary in this matchup that does favor Shadowfiend quite a bit when he has this solo advantage in the beginning usually.
Yeah, especially when Lemek was also looking for the kill. You could see them prepping with their attacks previously. Raging Potato was beating into mid one. They knew his cooldown timing of refraction, and they tried to capitalize on that. But yep, as you said, Team Secret, Yapsor, in the right place and right time. We were kind of expecting that from his Rubik. Without it, he doesn't get his levels, and that's something else to look at for the supports. The fact that Rubik has already managed to get 2 and third levels so far, trying to contest the runes, which will end up spawning on bottom, a double damage rune to RR.
You know, we got to keep an eye out for stacks in this game as well. Whenever you have Templar Assassin and Batrider in the same team, they want to farm different stacks. Batrider wants to farm the non-ancient camps most of the time, and Templar Assassin wants to farm the ancient. So in that sense, Secret's lineup is nicely well-rounded in that they want different camps in the jungle, access to those. And then you look over at XctN, they also want stacks for their Shadowfiend if possible, but generally not the ancients. They're not really the way to go.
Go for the easier camps. Kezu at least has that observer ward on bottom lane watching the small stack near him. So using it for pulls until he goes for something else. MP, there's no mana on the top lane apart from enough to doppelganger away from James. Puppy is in the neighborhood with the Paralyzing Cask, and this is a battery assaulting Clockwork that has committed in with a creep wave. The Paralyzing Cask won't bounce again. The TP out will be successful, and the regeneration of the base will repair the damage. It will be done by the last tick of Maledict.
He's keeping them on their toes here in the top lane, but this should not be a lane that Clockwork can ever get a solo kill in. He's pretty good against the Witch Doctor, but if he goes on the Witch Doctor, the PL can just jump in with Doppelganger and spawn additional targets for the Battery Assault. You can't really find a kill. Can also throw out a ramp, but also spawns an illusion. This is an okay lane for Clockwork. It's not fantastic, but he's getting some levels. That's what you generally want to do on that off lane as that type of hero. The last hits are secondary to the levels on Clock, and he's already level 3. Batrider, however, is level 4 actually, the Secret down bottom. Kezo's having a great time, and that's worrying. We've seen Kezo and Batrider in this tournament having some outstanding games. Probably his best hero of the tournament, actually.
That's that secondary objective of the Observer Ward. The ping's coming out right now from the SK saying, I'm fairly certain he knows that he can see us. And that's problematic because it means the rotations, like Rubik was already getting a little bit of early information, having a little battle with RR as they ran around through the Radiant jungle, top lane, troublesome, Puppy actually locked in with the Clockwork. The battery assault damage will be enough for James to get the kill. There was not much more MP could do about it. And James will even take both of the bounty runes to boot.
He actually managed. I think the Phantom Lancer looks like he was just out of mana at that point. Then that's when you can try to commit for that kind of play. If Phantom Lancer can't counterplay, this is a really difficult matchup for Witch Doctor. But he kind of relies on his character to be able to help out, and Puppy was a bit out of position, got caught. Nice little play by James, immediately heading up to top again here.
Yapsor, that's very aggressive, coming into the trees. Lemek's just going to go for the straight-up Burrow Strike, and then the follow-up damage with Raisin 2 hits from Raging Potato, and that was a gift from Team Secret in the mid lane.
And they got to be careful at nighttime. Howl is really powerful right now, even though it's only level 2. This additional damage and health on all of their lanes make plays very difficult for Team Secret to carry out. So might need to take it a little bit easy. At the very least for them, they're still getting good stacks off. Yapsor's managed to double stack. Or is that a triple? He's definitely double. Yeah, it's a triple stack on the right camp, and now they're tripling the top camp as well with Puppy. So 2 times triple stack Ancients ready for mid 1. Generally want to be like level 7 before you start farming those, I believe, depending on the composition of creeps. And now he's going to head in and do some regular camps, maybe leaving a little bit of mid experience to someone else. Now Fnatic pushes back.
You do have two supports who are going to be itching for it. Both the Witch Doctor as well as the Rubik benefit from having one, the level 6, but two, just level increase on those supports. Rubik for the burst damage, Puppey for the more control that he's able to offer as a Witch Doctor. Especially when he's sacrificing himself so much. We talk about Puppey being the hard 6 position in a team with Team with Secret, just with Yapsor. He's the guy that takes everything else.
Yeah, I like that you point this out because when it comes to this support duo, it's actually a pretty strange pairing. This is kind of a thing of the past, running two ranged supports like this. Most of the time your position 4 is more of a melee hero that is tankier, can go for these aggressive plays, similar to like what the Sand King is of Lumik. We've seen a lot of Nixus at.
MP, really? James under the tower, pumping into lots of paralyzing can't go, and cuts upon 3, even body blocks him out, making it impossible for James to go through the trees. Another TP out to safety. Does he have the life? He'll go back to base and barely surviving.
Clutch. That was really close.
Oh boy.
He's kind of pressing his luck here a bit, but forcing MP back to base at the same time he forces himself back is a pretty okay trade-off for the Clockwork. Maybe slightly Secret favored because of course the Witch Doctor can go and take some XP in the lane, but that wasn't the worst thing in the world for James.
Team Secret also get a little bit more of an advantage looking towards that mid lane. Raging Potato disappeared into the jungle at the same time as Mid 1 did, but Mid 1 came back earlier. He came back with the catapult wave, which is still alive, beating into that mid tower, dropping it down to 286. So Raging Potato got a little bit of farm, but as you said, Mid 1 wanted his level 7. He now has that and can look towards the Ancients. And Yapsor, this is where he also leeches so hard. You push the Rubik closer towards that level 6, closer towards that the big burst damage where his rotation becomes more powerful.
This time you're not getting out. That is not happening.
His TP's on cooldown, he's got 4 one charges to create the space for the clocks. Never. Okay, no, there's your Lancers. James, maybe, Lemmick, get rid of the illusions of Fate Bolt from Yapsor.
That comes
securing the kill.
The signature Fate Bolt, that's unnecessary, but just needs that gold on the Rubik, you know?
That was necessary. I sense a level of salt.
100% dead from that last tick of Maledic.
Okay,
so
I should just point out
no one here.
But the former Yapsor teammate, Syndra, sitting next to me, he's going to possess more salt than PPD during this game.
That's hard to do. I can actually give you a little bit more of a background to this game. Speaking of past history with players, Mid 1 TA knocked me out last year in a best-of-1 elimination game. That's what Fnatic actually turned to in that game as well. So it's a very, I think if you look at Mid 1 and you're like, okay, we're playing a best-of-1 elimination game, we want to give him his best, most comfortable hero in high-pressure situations. This is the one. This is basically a repeat of last year with Fnatic. Yeah. When Mid 1 was playing that. So.
And we really have seen like games with Templar Assassins, she can sit like a couple of thousand net worth in front and is able to carry a team. Like, all you need to do is have just that little bit of momentum, and they've got it so far.
It's also just the pacing of the best-of-1 elimination games. Like, teams are generally likely to play a little more cautiously and slower. And then a hero like TA that can abuse stacks can be a very powerful tool to have in your arsenal. You see, the Execration side has barely even contested these stacks right now. They've mainly been playing their own side of the map. The Clockwork has been putting some pressure top, but apart from that, we've barely even seen the heroes cross the river. So, if that's how you're going to play, TA is a pretty damn amazing pick for this kind of stuff. And just need to wait to see when Mid 1 wants to farm these stacks. They would take him up to level 10.5, I think, and about 80-90 CS.
Oh, if he had Firefly, he really would have gone for that. Had Lasso off cooldown and 3 sticky napalm stacks on the Lycan. That was probably the best opportunity, even though he kept walking under the tower. So, maybe not the greatest positioning. So Yapsor's taking up the middle. Looks like they're also going to give Lemmick that kind of space to farm up there while TA's gone jungle. Kezu on the run, but he'll be okay. So this is that flash farm period we're talking about. We look towards the SF for his timing. Shadowblade build is his item of choice. Okay, level 6, hook shot, up she flies, finding Kezu. Battle Rider, fantastic for getting out of the cops. If he had the Firefly, but it just times out. Is there restoration? No, there isn't. Kezu just needs the life. 6 charges won't be enough. And RR can add his first +2 for the game for the intelligence stolen.
That was perfect timing on that hook shot. Very nicely done by James. Just before the Firefly expires, sees that very little moment of opportunity. We're talking half a second here. Gets that jump to get that nice kill. The gold goes to RR, who's generally, I think he's played Silencer for Execration in a couple of games. He has a tendency of being very starved. He plays very hard support. This hero actually benefits a lot from getting just one item as in the support role. Generally a mobility item like Force Staff or Glimmer Cape for saving or something like that. Contributes quite a lot for this hero in particular, I would say.
It's kind of the sad thing for him. He's played Silencer in one game and he was up against the team who just crushed here on the stage. So
he had a hard time.
Yeah, he had a very hard time. Yapsol has a big smoke maneuver commitment here from Team Secret. You have the drums over on Kezu, so you have the movement speed that can come from the Batrider. So as the advantage, if you can be successful at this fight, potentially picking off Raging Potato. He's just trying to finish up the Ancient Black Dragon, which may just be stolen by Kezu, while mid one will finish the tier 1 tower in mid. Some decent money now being injected into the Team Secret bank account.
Is that a Lycan ulti?
It is a Lycan ulti.
Farming? Okay. So Secret, the biggest discrepancy right now is when you look at the CS across the board, it looks pretty even, right? Like TA has 92, Shadowfiend has about 90, PL and Lycan are even as well, but the big discrepancy is Batrider to Clockwork, and that's just how these heroes work, in essence. Like, Batrider will out-farm Clockwork quite a lot if they're both given a good game, and that's the net worth advantage. Now the question is, how much can this Clockwork set up for his team with this low net worth compared to that Batrider? As you said, already has Drum, closing in on a Blink Dagger. We're probably going to see that for Kezu around the 15-minute mark at this rate.
Well, that's the advantage of the Clockwork. The fact he already has his initiation, but Kezu still has the Firefly up and running. So getting out of the cogs is easy enough. Giving it to Yapsol, easy when you trigger Battery Assault after. So not the ability Yapsol was searching for.
It gives them some decent kill potential with Lasso, actually. If they lasso someone into Battery Assault, that deals a lot of damage, if they want to look for that.
You still need the Blink though. He's at 600 and requires a lot more. That 2250. But they may try and go for it anyway. Keep the Batrider down. Keep him away from that Blink Dagger. A 3-man smoke up as they wrap around the Roche Pit. Where do they want to go? The line is drawn to actually go back up and into the dire jungle towards the Ancients. And who are they going to find? It's going to be Kezu. But Kezu, well, it's the other way around. He actually finds them.
They're having a hard time dealing with this Batrider, I would say. He's only got 1 death in mid 70 CS and just... They didn't manage to kill him top, now he's going to break their smoke and keep farming. And TA is completely uncontested. I think that's the biggest concern for Execration, is that mid one is just farming.
TA is going to kill bottom lane, they're initiating it. MP made it way through the trees on the east. Nando doesn't have the life with the 6 charges and so many PLs fighting against him. Mid one just has the damage. And a very hard way to fight that. Like, Puppy revealed himself to mid only a second before that. They didn't know where...
Oh, those side blades!
Oh, Levick! Back to the trees, out of range, survive. Let the Tranquil Boots kick in.
And I was getting some...
the rocket.
Some Ferrari flashbacks right there. Remember that Brood kill?
Oh, wow, that's a long time ago.
It's a pretty long time ago. That's a very, very memorable moment, though. Yeah, he hit 3 side blades in a row and an invisible target there. Very nice from mid one, but not enough. Even though he had the Deso already, I think he picked this up at sub 12 minutes, which is very quick. They just keep stacking. All right, now he's just going to walk into the camp itself, block that off.
Yeah. But Nando's trying to make the best of the opportunity. We talked about the fact like TA is getting a lot of fun, but we also talked about the fact that Lycan is the counter. You can check the item build of Nando. He's finished his treads and he just picked up his level 1 Necro Book.
An even level 1 Necro Book is very good.
Yep. They're going to need it. Right now,
Shadowfiend has Shadowblade as well.
The fight's preparing on bottom lane. You got Kezu ready to come around the back. You got mid one ready to push in as well, straight through the middle. Observer and Sentry is down for Team Secret, so they will be aware in this fight. The hook shot gonna miss the target, and without that now, Kezu feels so confident. Jumps in, gets the silencer out, so no global silence available for the fight. Paralyzing cast, making it difficult for Raging Potato to move back out. The Burrow Strike again, holding him in position. Let Puppy Sandward go. James will fall. Execration lose 4. The Lycan, the man who wasn't there, the sole survivor, claiming the tier 1 tower on top as the only consolation prize for Execration.
Might be seeing some of those main stage jitters from some of the less experienced players. They seem very hesitant, and that attempt from Clockwork to jump, I think he was trying to hookshot the PL under his tower, maybe into a global play. It's a very difficult play, very high risk, low reward kind of play in that tower. To try to get, and Secret were just in position and counterplayed them very nicely here. We're going to see it now. I actually think the hook is already on cooldown now. Raging Potato goes in, doesn't manage to put the kill at all. This fight is... The moment Silencer gets grabbed, it's very difficult for Execration to counterplay this move of Secret. Their burst damage is just way too high, and they can't prevent those players from getting it done.
Yep. And it seems so hard for them to move around in the fight. Like the Paralyzing Cask is doing so much work too. And you've got the other AoE stun, which can come in from the Rubik. The Batrider control, as you can see, they know they caught this fight in the bag. The second you get that early pick-off, Team Secret will not be hindered at all. So instead, Execration try and make something out of something else, and that is James moving in towards the mid, looking for that angle with the haste room, but he ran over the top of Templar Assassin's trap. So Secret were ready for it. They already had the counter hero, Rubik versus Clockwork. is one of the easiest ways to save you from cogs by throwing the Rubik outside of his own cogs.
Now the question is what Execration's lineup can do to really set up a fight that can bring them into a good position again. Secret are getting a lot more out of the map right now after taking that fight. They've taken 2 towers to the 1 of Execration. Doesn't sound like too much, but getting the mid tower down is pretty significant.
They're going to try and fight again?
Yep. They should be looking for something like this. They have the tools, right?
Well, are they actually going to Roshan? It's difficult with Templar Assassin on the field.
They're looking to try something mid. There's the shapeshift.
Yeah, gonna run in. There's Sentry Wars down. The Hawk shot. Mid one just walked ahead. Can blink himself away to safety. The global silence is out. They need this fight to work. The Burrow Strike holding mid one in position. Templar Assassin will fall. And Nando going full dog way forward. But now paralyzing cast from Poppy. Holding James as well as Nando together. They have to get outside the cogs. Yapsor can't get the Stolen Epicenter in range of Execration. But James, he'll walk himself in range of Team Secret. So they can just send the PL illusions in and James will fall. It was a big kill, however. They did bring down Templar Assassin with the move.
Yeah, considering that they missed the hook shot there, that's a pretty okay outcome, I think, for Execration. Even the hook shot itself is pretty difficult to do on the TA, who does have refraction up and the blink dagger, so you need to do enough instances of damage to prevent her from blinking out. I think the thing that Execration are missing right now, apart from slightly better spell usage, is the blink dagger on Sand King. That's going to make things a lot easier. And we have Lumic farming at bottom. He's 600 away. Should be able to set up for a nice epicenter, since it's really nice to play Sand King when you're not the only initiation in the team. When someone else can set you up so you can get epi instead of being forced to a lot of the times choose between that fast burrow strike or the epi, he can now count on his ally to set it up, knowing he has global in the back as well. It's a very nice lineup to play Sand King in. So I think they should definitely be looking to enable him here with a blink.
Execration have a choice now. They've scouted out mid one doing Templar Assassin. Team Secret, 4-man smoke over. They've got an Observe Ward on the hill. So is the Sentry Ward. They dust down. They'll see Raging Potato lassoed up. Someone needs to create a little bit of space before they lose the SF. James has gone in, but now he's isolated in the middle of 5 heroes of Team Secret. Trying to run out. The Cogs at least split the fight up a little bit more. No buyback from the SF. Nando just wants to TP himself out. Keep this Lycan alive. They'll be successful with that. RR will not be so lucky as attention moves towards the SK. Diffuser Blade, it was freshly purchased just before this fight, and it is nipping the heels of Execration out. So no more running away, and no more ways to contest Roshan from Team Secret.
They should be putting this Aegis on the TA. It's a good item on the Phantom Lancer as well. Gets a lot out of the second life, but mid one is just extremely far ahead right now. We play very aggressively with this. It's also their primary structure pusher here. He can take down a couple of towers maybe with this Aegis 18 minutes in. Maybe they can get the remaining tier 1, maybe the tier 2 bottom. It's fairly easy to siege. The other tier 2s are a bit more tricky, but they should be feeling like they're in a good position with a good advantage here. We see the replay again. Yeah, last one saw on the Shadow Fiend puts them in a really bad spot.
And you can see exactly what they wanted to do. Like, there was the Observe Ward also on top of the hill. That's what set up a lot of that fight. They saw the SF coming from a mile away, and the fresh Blink Dagger, another item which was purchased just before that fight, caught Execration off guard.
Yeah. Could have maybe been a different story if they had Global Silence ready, but the Bad Rider in this game is doing a lot of work. Kezu's finding the right picks. He's been involved in 9 out of 12 kills on his bat.
Probably the reason why at the end of every single Team Secret fight we're having a camera close-up on Kezu just going, yeah.
Much.
Good fight, boys. Good fight. So, Execration, they still have some things working their way. Even though the gold is moving 6,000 in the way of Team Secret, the experience about 8,500, you still have that power that comes from the SF as well as the Lycan. Lycan, we've seen a little bit of his power throughout the fight, but not a hell of a lot. Most of it was just Necrobook focusing on the Templar Assassin. But so far, SF really hasn't had a huge influence. Apart from the initial pick-off when they were able to get the Clockwork grab, like, that was good. But the Shadow Blade hasn't really paid off. He's still working his way towards his BKB, and maybe then he'll have a chance if he doesn't get caught by the Backrider.
It definitely still feels like the type of game Execration can come back in. It's a fairly big lead, but it's not insurmountable at all. And their lineup, I think fares pretty well in the core matchups later on. The Shadow Fiend is okay against PL, as PT pointed out. I think we've talked about the Lycan against the TA.
They're forcing a fight.
They just need to get their key items without losing out too much and organizing the fights a bit better. Now that the Blink Dagger is up on Sand King and Secret don't know it, this could give them that one big fight. If Execration just get one good team fight where they trade maybe 5 for 2, 5 for 3, the game is going to almost even out because they should be able to take another tower or 2 after that fight. I see the mid tower being low already here for Team Secret.
You're talking about the Blink Dagger over on the Sand King. We have a just shy of 20-minute Rubik Blink Dagger coming out on the courier to Yapsor. So your blink ability across the field now, both Kezu, Mid 1, and Yapsor all have blink daggers. Team Secret's positioning is to be very difficult for Execration to counter. Not to mention Clockwork isolating a target.
That's not the easiest ask right now. And the thing about this Rubik Blink Dagger that's so crucial is that if Yapsar is fast, which he has a tendency to be on this hero, he can Blink Steal Barrow Strike, which is an incredible steal for Rubik in general. Has to play around Global Silence, one of the better counters to Rubik, but it is definitely possible.
Team Secret are coming down the mid lane. They've still got the Aegis the Immortal for a little bit more time. Another 2 minutes before it will get reclaimed.
Puppy's signature buckler. He's the only player who does this, I think. Always gets a buckler.
It's funny to me what hero they're on too, they do it.
The funny thing to me about this is that that's one of the things they talked about in the panel, right? Like, you have this type of player who's very stubborn and likes the stuff that he likes and just wants to do it. And Puppy has been buying bucklers for years. And nobody else really likes buckler, but Puppy's like, this is the item. Then I asked him how long it lasts on creeps and heroes, and he didn't know. So that was interesting.
Critical details to justify your
He thought it lasted the same duration on creeps as heroes. I mean, why wouldn't it, right? Why wouldn't it, actually? But,
do you know Syndrome?
I know. Slacks and I sat down and made it some really difficult questions. So. That one's pretty hard.
Well, Team Secret, you've still got the Aegis the Immortal for another minute and then 10-ish seconds. Going high ground is probably not the easiest thing they want to do. We are only 22 minutes into the game. You do not want to give Execration the ability to fight from a point of power. Especially now that Rage Potato has that BKB, he would like the fight. But Team Secret also understand they're very powerful, so the only other objectives outside the base at the moment are the Tier 1 and Tier 2 tower up at the top lane. Is that just a simple thing that Team Secret can just move towards and take, or should they be forcing something else?
It's the easiest objective on the map now, for sure. But it might still be too high risk to do at this point. How long is left on that Aegis? Half a minute. They're not going to get up there in time. They do have the BKB to play around with on mid 1, which is definitely a very good item in this game. They're probably also pretty content to farm. As long as they are sitting in the position they are right now, they're owning definitely the majority of the farm on the map right now. You see them posing very aggressively in the Radiant jungle. The Radiant has swapped up to top, but it still feels like Secret have a bit more map control by the tower advantage that they have.
This could work very well for the mid 1. He doesn't know what he's running into, or then again, they don't know what they're running into. Mid 1's got the Invis rune. He goes straight on top of the Clockwork, but nobody knows. The Shadow Blade's going to break in just a second, and then Mid 1 will know exactly what he's up against. Regeneration from the Aegis, and remains an Invis. Breaks the party up of Execration and goes back to farming. Meanwhile, mid lane, they do find a target. It's going to be RR. Yapsor able to actually not take the kill for once. It's Kezu.
Proud of you, Yapsor. Good job.
Team player.
Yeah.
Got to get that new item on the Bat Rider, who's already got Drums, Blink, Force, and Full Magic Wand.
Secret are holding nice grip on the map, though. This is a 10k lead now. Execration still haven't really been able to find that team fight that they're looking for. The couple of smokes they had toward mid were very easily read by Secret. It feels like forever since they got their last kill. They will be trying to push a bit up top, it looks like, having some information about where Secret's heroes are, but they don't feel confident to just go and attack this with their SF.
It's like they're trying to bait it in, so you show the SF up here, but it's the two heroes who have distance closing. It's the Blink Dagger on the SK, and it's the Hook Shot from the Clockwork. They want to have a fight, whereas just one hero coming back from Team Secret to defend the top lane push, but Team Secret is refusing to oblige.
Secret are just staying down here. They found a new home. Basically, the Dire has migrated onto the Radiant side of the map. Now, nobody likes Dire anymore. Nobody in that jungle. But this is what Secret want. This is the ideal situation. This is even better for them than if Execration's heroes were top. Now they're just controlling it even harder. Execration's heroes are hiding in base. They do have a smoke on the Sand King that they could try to commit here and look for some sort of play. The last 10 minutes have been all Secret, I feel. There hasn't been too much initiative from Execration that.
Well, they're trying to find a hole in Team Secret's defense, but so far, none has really presented itself too strongly. Rockets continue to fly out from the Clockwork, trying to get vision.
You got some info there. It's going to see PL farming their camp. That could be useful.
Question is, though, where can they still initiate? Which hero do you initiate into? There's so much counter because Team Secret are so close to each other, holding each other's hands. Your vision where Team Secret are farming at the moment is non-existent for Execration. The Radiant scan 4, they don't find anything. Waiting for that Dire scan. It is actually off cooldown for the moment. And now Lemic, well, Burrow Strike gonna catch out too. Global Suns as well, trying to counter the attack. TA, however, got a BKB off. She might be fine for the moment. The epicenter damage is nice, but then the Clockwork Cog, it traps all of Execration on the same position. They cannot get away. Too much damage, and the stolen epicenter from Yapzor. Lacquer it on top. And Execration will lose 3, potentially 4. Lemic is doing his TP at the moment, and he will get out in time.
Oh, those were not the cogs, man. That feels bad when that happens. He had the right intentions, but the force staff from Kezo, I believe it was, just got him out of position into a better position. The TA didn't get trapped inside either. Secret just get another convincing win. That was a 3-0. Another 4K advantage built from that fight.
This is more than problematic. This is Team Secret looking to push. And the ping is coming. Like, is it going to be for Tier 1 tower or Tier 3? Mid 1 is the one looking towards the mid. The rest of Secret are farming for the moment. And mid 1 just by himself can pressure the mid to look for a reaction from Execration. And that's exactly what he does, and then just bounces away. So let's have a look at that fight again. So the Burrow Strike comes in. He gets a nice double start at the beginning, even the epicenter. But the second the silence wears off, Epi gets stolen. And that Clockwork Cogs was basically the funeral parade of Cogs for Execration.
Basically set up 3 side blade attacks in a row, I think. The quick force step from Kezo there is very important as well. And this is a problem. When Sand King jumps like that and Clockwork follows through, the other heroes need time to connect. The Lycan needs to use his shapeshift and start running toward it. Shadowfiend has to run all the way in. So the way Execration's heroes were positioned, they actually could use the Sand King stun. Oh, Silencer, speaking of position.
Nice lasso, able to grab that Silencer, the stolen Burrow Strike. In there for Yapzor, you talked about how quick he has to be to grab it. Lemic, he attempted to Sandstorm as well, but Silencer down, all the towers on the top lane being removed. We're 27 minutes into the game, and now Team Secret, they want to go up. And they're able to do so. The Burrow Strike is more posturing than anything else. It does no damage whatsoever, and they know there's no follow-up. With no silencer, with no global silence, they cannot win the fight. Maybe if Raging Potato can get that blind, like, Requiem of Souls, you can see him wanting to attempt it on MP. And Puppey maybe feels the pressure. Sentry wards are going down everywhere.
Missed hookshot again. They need to connect their spells with their heroes in the right position, else it's all for naught. It doesn't matter. Here we go. Better position this time.
Yeah, maybe they can get it, but you couldn't get the follow-up from Lemic. Mid 1 able to get himself far enough away. They're trying to get the distance. The BKB out from Raging Potato. At least he won't be affected by the paralyzing cast, but Lycan continuously stunned up. Now the global silence is out. Nando, he has to do work here. He has to find the kill. Mid 1's the primary target. The secondary Burrow is there from Lemic, but Mid 1, he will finally die. Puppey will join him with a glorious death forward to, well, signify his own demise. They want more. Nando, MP, now the Lycan form is worn off. MP can come into this fight. The Burrow Strike forward. Yapzor still not dead yet. He's able to actually stay alive through so much of this. Almost killing off Lemic on the hill. Lemic will get the kill, but maybe, oh, it's still not enough. Raging Potato, Requiem of Souls up against MP. He can just dodge too easy, and Kezu and MP will stand over the corpse of Execration. It cost him 3 teammates, but the fight goes the way of Team Secret.
That was a much better organized team fight from Execration, but they're really
Courier, no!
Wait, did Kezu just kill the Courier?
Yeah, the Courier was making a break for the secret shot.
Oh. What was on it?
Nothing. It was going up there at the time.
But this is the way Execration can take these fights. It was close to being good enough, but Secret's big advantage there still allows them to come out on top. Even losing the TA like that is still playable just because of how much net worth they have across the board on all their heroes. Everyone in their lineup is actually pretty fun. Even the Witch Doctor.
Hookshot. James gonna hit this one. MP, well, he turns on the Blade Mel. MP's not gonna fight him, but the Battery Assault, now he gets free. It's the Doppelganger. James can't stay close. The Diffuser Blade stopped him. The Rocket will fly forward. It does the damage, but MP on 33 HP will survive. Has Manta available as well. Lemic's trying to close the distance. The Wolves are scouting, and now finally they find MP. Tries to break out with the Manta, but it will not work. And RR, the man who sent that Curry up to start with, he finally has his Solar Crest he went up to buy.
That's a pretty big chunk of gold.
It is?
Oh, MP doesn't buy back. They could actually just get the Roche off this.
If they only knew. There's still Templar Assassin traps around, and that TA is also still a beast. That's a full butterfly. Blink, BKB Desolator on mid 1. And a Haste Rune, which will get him in range of Lemic. So Yapzor gets to sit on a hill for 1 second until he 4-stars down. but that is now no SK for 43 seconds.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack.
And that should mean that this Aegis will eventually go to Secret. I think they're going to push in all the waves, make sure that XctN are cornered in their base, and then they can kill this Roshan very, very quickly with the combination of heroes. They have the TA, can pretty much solo this Roshan very quickly. Oh, he's going to see James.
Oh, at least maybe with the Blade Mail. No, they're not even going to... They just wait until it wears off, and then mid-one does the rest of the damage. Refraction protected him to start with. And the Clockwork. Quick and easy pick-off. Team Secret. Very methodical in this game.
They're going to just, pushing in the mid. Roche is, it looks like TA is moving to where the Roche, the mid trajectory goes there. Oh, a nice region. Oh, he doesn't want it.
He'll get it later. Oh,
Yapsol gets the region.
Well done, Yapsol. Well done.
Oh, Yapsol gets it. Okay.
Yeah, now we see who the real carry is.
Yeah, now he just needs to sell his bottle, and then we're back to normal. You can.
He can give his bottle to a carry. Come on, it's donations for the poor. Yapsol, blink in, able to find the Sand King. He took a Fire Strike and 15-1 shot to make that 16-17, but that's only because Team Secret are expending abilities to kill him off. So no SK, once again, picked off outside the base. XctN, it always feels like they're one man down or one primary ability down. This would give Team Secret the opening they want.
They seem less coordinated and more chaotic.
Alright, Raging Potato, you're gonna burn the refraction. Charges the blink away! Mid-one, saw it coming from a mile off. Takes the range rags. Nando was triggered his dog form as well. And now they're gonna go in once more. Looking for the opening. Mid-one takes the top tier 3 tower. Nando is just enjoying being on speed with his wolf form, but 70 seconds before it's back off cooldown. You will have the SK up in 6 seconds, but Team Secret, they've already made a hole in your home.
Radiant's top barracks.
And Raging Potato, I don't think he understands like which hero he's got to go on.
Radiant's top barracks.
That's 1.5 lanes of Rax. They still have the melee in mid, and I think Secret are going to just wait a little bit. Again, push out this wave in the mid, get that in a good position. The bottom lane is pushing in a little bit, probably courtesy of Clockwork. At least he could do that. But it's not looking good for XctN now. We're at that stage now where, judging from what lineups are facing each other, you need some sort of a miracle here to come back. If they find that perfect combination with everything, all their cooldowns ready, where they get a good epicenter Sand King stun and global sounds on top, and they land their key spells in addition to that, they can definitely still take the fight, but there are such a big margin for error for Team Secret. They're just going to send in mid-one with the medallion on.
Team Secret basically need to have 5 heroes standing all on the one spot for XctN to have enough control in the team fight where they can win it, but they can at least attempt to evenly trade or keep someone alive. The SK, at least the global silence is out, but the SF will be able to survive. Maybe mid-one going down. Aegis Immortal, the only thing he'll lose, where SF will lose its life. A quick buyback. They have to fight now or never. Even with the low souls, you have to hold the line. Nando's with his BKB at the 5, but mid-one, the damage output is roughly 400. They'll take the mid-rack. They're forcing XctN back into their fountain, and Team Secret, they want to get Negus. They'll do this the long way. No tier 4 tower push. It's safe, secure. The tier 3 tower will fall. Clockwork trying to actually jump to the front line. There is a pickup. Mid-one, just focusing on the Raging Potato. They need the dieback on the SF. They'll remove his damage. They'll remove his aura, and they'll remove XctN almost from the International. Mid-one just needs to finish the job. The racks are still to be done. There's Lemic with his Burrow Strike. At least able to catch the Templar assassin, but oh my lord, RR is gone. They've lost 4, they've lost 5, and they can be brutally, savagely wrecked out of the International. Team Secret have done it. It took 34 minutes. It was convincing, it was clean, and it felt like XctN just never got in the game.
Yeah, I was hoping for a bit more out of XctN in this game. I don't feel like this game really does justice some of the really nice plays we saw from them in the groups, but you know, this is a high pressure environment. It's that one game to